And a warm welcome to the latest edition of Goodwin Live on Instagram Live. We're getting these every Monday and Wednesday at 7 p.m. Today we are on, and it is a Thursday. Unfortunately, the problem that we had yesterday was that the our main office, was broken into for a third time and twice yesterday, and so we had to go down there and sort things out with the police and the forensics and everything like that. So apologies yesterday for not being on, but we are on today, and we've got a very, very exciting and interesting lineup. And I will, as usual, go back to front. We're joined at 7:30 by current Southern Area Super-Welterweight champion Dean Richardson, who's going to tell us what he's been up to during lockdown, and we're going to talk about his career when boxing resumes. Prior to Dean Richardson, we have William Webber, in my opinion, one of the most exciting talents in British boxing today at super middleweight. He's a man that is going to be winning many, many titles down the line. Before William Webber, we've got Liam Shinkwin, former Southern Area champion, who's got his eyes on the prize of at least an English title in his comeback. He had quite a while out of the ring, but then came back. So we're looking forward to speaking to Liam. And first of all, we've got a very interesting man, Moses Matovu. Now, Moses was, I believe, one of the country's most exciting journeymen to watch. He fought on many, many Goodwin shows, and he was a real top man. He was always reliable. He was very, very rarely stopped, and he was a very, very exciting man to watch. Now, Moses has been out of the ring for quite a while, so it'll be interesting to find out what he's done after boxing and what he's up to now. So we're going to try and track with Moses. So let me try and get hold of Moses, see if he's on. I haven't seen Moses for 5 years. I couldn't believe it when I looked last. Moses, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Do you know, I didn't realise it's 4.5 years since you last had a fight.
Ain't that crazy?
I know, it's
unbelievable.
Mad. What are you doing? What have you done since you retired from boxing?
You know what? I haven't done much. You know, I've been catching up with being at home, family. You know, I mean, when I was doing the boxing, obviously it was taking me away a lot from the family. I used to do a lot of training, obviously to keep my core strength up to being able to be entertaining as I was in the ring, like you saw, to keep up with the youngins. But it kept me a lot out of the house. So I've been catching up on family life.
And you still living in Belfast?
I am still living in Bangor, yes, which is outside Belfast.
In Bangor, yeah, just outside Belfast. So what are you doing now work-wise? Are you still working at the stores, or?
You know what? Yes, I was lucky enough to get my job back at the supermarket. In these crazy times, I had to. I was starting myself up as a PT in one of the local gyms. They were lucky enough to take me on and show me how things are done and maybe take a few boxing classes. I still help out a little bit with Alio a few days a week.
Okay.
You remember Alio? I'm sure he still has a few fighters on some of your shows. But I was trying to start out as a PT, and Corona happened. I had to take my job back at the supermarket, you know.
And what's it like there? Are they being is it very safe there for you to work there?
You know what? It is. I went back on night, and stores are closed at night. You know, they have to close up at 10 p.m. and open up again at 8 a.m. It is busy as, you know, every day it's busy as, because everybody being home obviously needs their food shopping and all that. Yeah, it is.
And going back and looking over your career, which did, well, you had 60, you're still looking now 73 fights in total.
Yes.
What was the fight or the night that you enjoyed the most?
You know, it's hard to beat the. And I'm not just saying this because of your show, but then again, it wasn't really. I don't think you were doing the promoting of the show. The prize fighter for the heavyweights, the first time they did it. You know, I got to catch up with a lot of big names in the boxing world. You know, heavyweights, and the atmosphere there was a little bit even more exciting than usual at your home. Your hall was always, you know, it's always exciting anyway. But that night, you know, everybody was there, and I think Anthony Joshua did fight.
Yeah,
to top the bill. Yeah,
yeah,
that was a very exciting fight, exciting night, because I got to meet a lot of people. Got to meet a lot of people, and they flew in a few legends too
yeah.
for that show. Yeah.
And when you finished, and I know you finished because of the medical situation,
Mm.
um, did you really miss it? Did it take you a long time to adjust afterwards?
Oh, did it ever? Yes, yes. It was so hard. But I had to come to reality with the fact that I had been so lucky and I had been able to go on much longer than a lot of people my age would have been able to. Boxing gave me so much, you know. But I had had a good run. I had really had a good run. Thanks to you and mostly the promoters around the UK in Alio reviving that part of my career because it was much later in life for me. Because when you look at the other journeymen, they're a lot younger,
Yeah,
and I was just able to use some of the skills. I was always limited anyway. It's really sad to say that I was always limited. That's why I always took the journeyman route to be able to fight fighters who were a little bit younger in the game in with their experience. Um, but when it finished, it's taken me a little bit of time, and I had to stay out of the gym so I wouldn't get the bug of what everybody's getting now and thinking about coming back to the ring because I couldn't. The whole thing was getting it out of my system. But
yeah.
now that I'm done, I'm ready to help a few other fighters, but also maybe help out people get in shape. You know.
Yeah, no, that's good. So, I mean, I always remember the funny thing about you, you always used to celebrate winning, even if you lost, and you put your hands up as if you won, which was, you were always good fun to watch. And that's one thing that you did. You provided a lot of entertainment. But what was the worst part of being a boxer?
Oh, the worst part of being a boxer is uh, keeping a certain kind of weight. The discipline of that is, I mean, I don't think anybody can come out and say, oh, that is really exciting to, the anxiety of going on the scale and knowing you might actually be, 3 pounds over and you just have to lose it within a certain period of time. Because it comes from your dieting, your exercising to try to be able to stay within a certain kind of weight is, and I think that's gonna be a main theme of me doing my personal training,
Yeah.
because a lot of people it's a hard thing staying within a certain weight, and you're like, ugh, getting on that scale and not being that weight. I think is you know maybe the only people that get away with it are heavyweights, because every once in
Yeah.
a while, you don't really look at how how heavy a heavyweight is, but every other weight, that's a big challenge.
I always remember talking about weights. So you stepped in once and fought one of our heavyweights, David Abraham, who was about nearly
Ooh.
7 foot. Do you remember
Oh,
that?
yes, yes, yes. I used to size them up and look at them, and I'm like, what am I doing? And Al used to laugh at me. And, I was brave enough to be like, oh, well, they are in their beginning stages. I'll just dance all around them. And Alio had to hold me back. I don't want to, like, just, name drop people. But I think in the beginning, the Dillian White fight was offered, and I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I will. They're like, no, Moses, no, no, definitely
Yeah. But I
not
mean,
him.
I saw many fights on various people's shows that I
Yeah.
thought if you'd try, if you'd really wanted to, you could have won.
You know what? But there was also the element of the business side of things, and I don't want to sound like we are out there as journeymen throwing fights, but there is the element that I have an opportunity to fight every week, and it's where you are. uh, you know, you are in boxing, you understand this very well. Like if I stepped within maybe a couple steps of throwing the punch that I needed to throw, that's what you're talking about. I'll be able to maybe be more effective. But I was also thinking, I could have a fight every 2 weeks here. And if I get myself, because most of the people I was fighting that you're talking about were much younger than me. So it wasn't me being in position to overpower them. They could very easily overpower me, punch for punch. So, I mean, it was very calculated on my part, trying to get back and into the ring another 2 weeks. And I'm like, maybe I better lay off. Maybe I better lay off. And you get yourself another fight another couple weeks.
It's true. No.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Moses, it's really great to see you looking so well and so happy, because you're one of the great guys of boxing, and I'm glad that you're well and your family's still in touch and you're still in Northern Ireland. So thank you so much for joining us. Keep in touch, and I hope to see you in some form of capacity at boxing soon, because you're a big loss to the sport.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity and reaching out in these times and checking up on me.
Yeah. Take care, Moses. You look after yourself, and I'll see you soon.
Thanks a lot. Bye for now.
Cheers. That was Moses Matovu, one of the boxing's great guys and somebody that has made the sport tick over for so many years, bringing lots of entertainment, lots of fun and spirit to the shows. And he's still interested in boxing and helping out young fighters coming through, which is great. So as soon as Moses logs off, we'll go on to Liam Shinkwin, who's on next. Now, Liam Shinkwin has a story as well. Former champion, took a long break from the ring, and he made a comeback recently and was on the verge of an English title eliminator and was actually due to be boxing on the 16th of May. But that was scuppered with the virus. So I'm going to see now whether we can track down Liam, who's got a good story or two, that's for sure. So let's track down Liam. Here he is. Liam, how are you?
Hello, Steve. How you doing?
Oh, good. What are you up to? You should have been fighting, shouldn't you, this month?
I know, I was gutting. Yeah. Well, what date was it? The 30th of May?
16th. Was it 16th or 30th?
30th we were gonna go for. Yeah. What can we do? That's life, isn't it? But I'm still training. Been training every day. Keeping myself in shape. So as soon as I get an opportunity,
so
just got to stay in shape. Yeah.
100%. I mean, the thing is, I had an interview with Boxing Social today, and there could be the opportunity of some big fights coming up if fighters are in shape, if it's the right fight, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Because the plan, from what I understand, is if they get it off the ground, is that the bigger promoters are going to do weekly shows, but they won't be able to use foreign fighters. So again, you're not going to go in a fight you can't win or at the wrong weight or without the preparation, but there are going to be opportunities for those that stay in shape. And
well, as I said to you, I only want 50-50 fights. I'm getting old now. I'm 35 this year. I don't want no.
Are you 30? You're not looking bad for 35 coming off, are you?
35. I've been pro 12 years. I've had 11 fights in 12 years.
I mean, was your highlight of your career beating Ryan Taylor at
probably beating Ryan Taylor,
at Wembley?
That is definitely the highlight. I think, and it was partly my downfall because I think that was my first fight with Gary Logan, and obviously I won it, and I think I got it too soon because that was my first fight with him, and I felt like that was my world title once I'd won that, because no one really, I don't think many people expected me to win either.
Yeah.
So that was my world title, and I felt after that I'd sort of, I just lost a bit of motivation, and then I got the call for prize fighter at quite late notice. Well, I say late notice. It was 5 weeks notice, but my hands were still really bad from the Ryan Taylor fight, and so we got the call for prize fighter. We went in the gym and tried my hands out, and they felt okay. But that was only 5 weeks notice, but it just wasn't enough time to get really fight fit. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I was fit, but I weren't fight fit, and there's a difference between being fit and obviously fight fit.
Because you only had one more fight after that before you really
on your show, in Watford.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was it. And that was it for you, wasn't it?
And even then, I just didn't have my mojo. That's why I decided, it's not, boxing is not the sort of sport you can play at. And I thought, I honestly didn't think I'd be fighting again.
And it was 6 years out, wasn't it? Between then and the next fight. 6 years.
6 years, yeah, a long time.
But you came back and you looked good in your first fight, didn't you? I mean,
yeah, it was okay. You know what? I think I went straight back in with a 6-rounder, didn't I, against Ibrahim, who's tough. He's as tough as they come, yeah. And I remember my first 2 fights with him, my hands killed me after. He's got the hardest head I've ever hit. But yeah, funnily enough, this time Tony done my hands well because they didn't hurt one little bit, and it was good. But even then, I think going straight back into a 6-3s was tough because although I was fit, I think mentally going into rounds like the last round, I was saying Tony, I felt like my legs are like jelly. Obviously they weren't, but it was just obviously 6 years out of the ring and going straight back into a 6-rounder was, I suppose, always going to be tough just mentally.
But and you also fought Jamie Spate after that, but your hands have held up in both fights, haven't
Oh,
they?
my hands have been fine. Yeah. I think I'd like the way Tony does them. Yeah,
well, Tony,
good.
I mean, I think that's
in the past.
That's been a very good teamwork because Tony Peel's a very good up and coming trainer. So
yeah, he's brilliant.
Yeah, and he's
he's
building a good.
If I'd met up with Tony.
He's building a good team, good stable. He's a good man. So hopefully he'll have many champions, and you'll be the first with any luck.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, you and Tom, there'll be a battle between the two of you.
Yeah, I know. You know what? It's perfect because we've got a few boys all around the same weight. So that's what you want. That's how you spur each other on in the gym. And we've got a perfect little stable of fighters around like 10 stone, 11 stone.
You can keep going. So what have you been doing apart from training since you've been off? We've all been off.
Not really, to be honest. Just training, looking after my little boy. I have him pretty much half the week. And yeah, like because I'm a personal trainer, I decided to put on. I've been doing like live Instagram workouts every day at 12 o'clock. And so I've been doing them since we started lockdown. But I noticed I was doing them every day. I was doing them 6 days a week. And I noticed after a month of doing it, I was starting to put on weight just from doing things like push-ups every day. Because I was starting to put on muscle. So I sort of cut down to 3 days a week. Because I've always floated around at about 70 kilos. And now I'm like weighing about 72, 73. So yeah, it's coming down. But I'm in good shape.
What do you? How do you feel as a PT that your PTing is going to be affected by this whole virus situation?
I've been a little bit lucky because I've got a lot of clients in London who they've got gyms at their houses, so I've been training them via FaceTime.
Oh, okay.
Which is handy, yeah. So I've still had a bit of work. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've lost. I haven't been as busy as usual, but
no.
Yeah, I've been lucky that I've had them who have still wanted to train. So I've still been doing.
So boxing wise, what do you want out of the second career of Liam Shinkwin?
I'm taking it seriously now, Steve. I played at the game before. I've had, as I said, 12 years and I've had 11 fights. I've been in and out. And, I'm just, when you're not training hard properly, when you're not taking it seriously and you are cutting corners, you don't enjoy it. And when you are, giving it your all, you enjoy it. And I'm enjoying boxing at the moment. Well, I'm enjoying training at the moment, not really doing so much boxing, but, I'm looking forward to getting back in there and fighting, Yeah.
The difficulty is going to be if you take what they've done in Ireland. They said that professional sport can resume in July, but they said that gyms can't open until August. Now, that's mad.
I lost you a little bit there, Steve. Sorry, mate, what did you say?
I just said that in Ireland, they said that professional boxing and combat sports can resume in July, but gyms can't open until August. How on earth can you have professional combat sport when no gyms open?
That's a proper Irish way to go about it. I'll say that I'm Irish,
right?
Anyway. Yeah.
And that's what we'll find out this week. Hopefully, we'll find a bit more out on Sunday.
Yeah.
But we'll see how we go. But Liam, let's hope. And what do you actually want to achieve? What do you want to achieve? What level do you think you can get to this time?
Since I've been a little boy, I've always looked at the Lonsdale belt and thought, you know what, I want that. And yeah, that's still a goal of mine. I'd still love to win a Lonsdale belt. And who knows? If you can win a Lonsdale belt, who knows? There's a fine margin between, like I say, being a British champion and being a world champion. It's just, sticking with it. And
anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Yeah. Cool.
Just got to keep going. Well, thanks a lot for joining us, Liam.
Nice
Glad to see you keeping fit
man.
and looking well. So
you too.
We'll catch base with you soon.
See you
thanks
soon.
a lot. Thanks a lot, Liam.
Steve. All the best. Cheers, mate. Bye bye.
Cheers, matey. Take care.
Bye.
And that's Liam Shinkwin, a former champion, Southern Area champion, fought at Wembley Arena. To somebody who hasn't won a title yet, but is obviously hoping to win some titles down the line. So we're just going to wait for Liam to log off. For Liam to go. So that was Liam Shinkwin, a man that has won a title. And now we're going to be talking to somebody that is yet to win a title, but there is no doubt that he is going to win a title, and he's one of the most exciting talents in the country. But let's have a chat with William Webber. Let's find him. Here he is. Wait for him to join us. Will, how you doing?
Steve, how you doing, Steve? You all right?
Yeah, not bad. What have you been up to?
Oh, just training, staying indoors, keep training, you know.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
I mean, you had a bit of a setback, didn't we? With a couple of medical issues, like a lot of people are having with the board. You know, they're being very cautious at the moment, but
Yeah.
we're ready to go again. And then we're struck down by the virus, which it must be frustrating.
It was sort of in the week building up to it. It was like, you know, we kept checking the news and it was like, is it going to happen? Isn't it going to happen? And it was, it was very frustrating because, I mean, I felt so good for that fight coming up to that. I was really ready for it, you know. Obviously, I had like injury on the fight before. And then obviously going into that one, I was so ready to get in there and really do the business. And then it got cancelled because of that. And I mean, can't be helped, but yeah, it's real pain in the arse.
And on the back of the injury as well, that's just unbelievable bad. Like the fortunate thing is you're a very young man, and your time is going to come, isn't it? So
I got time on my side,
Yeah. So for people that don't know you, you started off fighting on Matchroom shows, didn't you? And then there was, let's just say, somebody who was in charge of matching made an absolute serious error of judgment and didn't know what they were doing. And messed it up for you at a young age. But since you've been on board with us, to me, you keep improving with every fight. Would you say that's fair?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt, yeah. Definitely without a doubt, yeah. I mean, you guys all of you do a fantastic job at everything, the whole putting the show together, the matchmaking, it's brilliant, all of it, yeah.
And tell us about who trains you and where your training team, how your training team operates.
So I've got, I'm actually in my gym at the moment. I've got here at my house. My dad does all like my strength and conditioning and fitness stuff, and then I go over to Stevenage to see my coach Paul Day. Who, he was 12 or 13 fights undefeated as a professional, and he was trained by Jimmy Tibbs. So he's, I mean, I know everyone loves their own coach, but to me, when I train with him, he's got the most his technical ability and just all about boxing is absolutely superb. I can't fault it really. So I feel like I'm in, you know, my team is brilliant, really.
And you're basically undefeated under your new team. You haven't looked, you know, you've looked sensational at times, and there's been a massive change in your career, and I think for the better. And I mean, but going forward, I mean, obviously you're a young man with a lot of dreams.
Yeah.
What are they? What do you realistically think you can achieve?
Well, as far as I can go, you know, take each step at a time and keep going on to bigger and better things. I mean, you know, I find that, if I was to win, I want to win the Southern area, but then after I've won that, I'm looking straight to the English. Then after I've won that straight, you know, I want to progress, and I want to go as far as I can go. I mean, I know everyone has a dream of, you know, being a world champion, but why not? I'm going to give it a go and give it my best shot.
And what about your amateur? Tell us about your amateur career.
Well, as my amateur career, I had about, for most of my amateur career, I was at Hoddesdon. And then the later part of my amateur career, I moved to Stevenage and was training with Paul and my dad, same as an amateur. I had about mid-40s, like 45 fights or something, and I'd won about 38, 39 of those. I think I'd stopped about 23, 24 of them. So it was pretty successful as an amateur career. I won the Nationals once, and I won the Haringey once as well. So yeah, I'd been about, and had a good amateur career. Yeah.
And that's the thing, because it's just that obviously no matter how good your amateur career is, you need that proper building in a pro, because it is a different sport, and it was and again it was rushed a bit at the start. But I mean, realistically, in your mind, I know we haven't really spoken about this, but when do you think you're going to be ready for a Southern Area title shot?
Well, I I put obviously complete trust in you, Kevin, the whole team in like guiding me on my journey. You know, I put complete trust in you guys, but I would like to, in possibly my next fight, step up to 6 rounds, see how we go in that, and just keep moving from there. Next couple of years, next 2 or 3 years, maybe. Definitely.
Yeah, maybe not as long. Maybe not as long as that. I think.
Well, yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd like to definitely. You know, I mean, like I say, I put complete trust in you guys and what you do. You obviously know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm getting ready. I'm growing with every fight that goes on. I feel like I'm getting better and growing, and everything seems to be coming together now. So it's going really well.
I mean, I've got aspirations of you far beyond Southern area. So, but it's important that when we win that, we're ready to move on. That's the key, because it's once you start that ball rolling, then you've got to sort of continue that ball. And I mean, it's like Southern area now. They've got a really good champion in Jermaine Brown, and you know that wouldn't. He's above average for a Southern area champion, and half of it is when you step up to Southern area, you don't want to be going against an English title level fighter, because and that's the key. But so you know, I think that's also very important that we gauge the right time and the right place to go. Timing's key in this business, isn't it? So that's really,
of course,
that's really great. So what do you? So for the rest of it, you're locked down at home, and hopefully, and the good thing you've got is when other people can't go to their gyms, your gym's at home, so you've got a big advantage, haven't you?
That is a bonus, yeah. I mean, I do my runs and come out here and train and bag work and pads and stuff, and my dad's always getting me to do whatever strength conditioning stuff he's got.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just been staying at home. I've been helping. Done a few bits in the garden and tidied up the garden a bit, a few sort of odd jobs here and there. But yeah, just mainly staying at home and training and doing the best in the situation we've been given, you know.
Exactly, you can't do it. But for those people that don't know you who are watching this, and tomorrow watch this on Boxing Social or whatever platform they're going to watch it on, they need to take a note of your name, because they are looking at a future big star of boxing. So thanks a lot, Will, for joining us. I've got total faith in you, you know that. But I don't mind saying that because I believe it's true. So thanks a lot for joining us tonight, Will.
Thank you for having me on.
Stay safe, look after yourself, all the best to your family, and we'll touch base soon.
Cheers. See you later.
Okay. Cheers, matey.
Bye.
So that's from one potential champion who will be a future champion. We've spoken to a former champion in Liam Shinkwin. Now we're going to touch base with a current champion. So we've got a mixture of everything on tonight's show. And this is a young man from West London, Mr. Dean Richardson. So we're going to get hold of Mr. Dean Richardson now. Here we go. Current Southern Area Super-Welterweight champion. And a man, Dean, how you doing?
How you doing, Steve? You good, mate?
I'm good. What have you been up to? You've been out in the cabs, or there's been no work?
Nah, it's not been worth it, mate. Just one, the money just isn't there. There's just no one about, and two, like the people that you do get in the cab, like you don't know if they've been isolating properly or nothing. So then obviously you have to clean the cab, and then you put yourself at risk of more catching it. Then so I haven't bothered. If I'm honest, mate, I think when did I fight? On the 14th. I went to work on the 16th. I think I put 30 quid diesel in and got £25 for the day. So I was like, nah, I ain't gonna bother.
I bet you feel lucky that you got that fight in before it stopped, don't you now?
Yeah. It's helped me out massively. Like when like the few days before, when it was a bit touch and go, whether it was gonna go ahead, I was thinking to myself, it probably shouldn't really, but
I'd agree. Yeah.
I'm not going to complain, you know what I mean? Like, I've got a fight in before, well, after everyone else, I suppose. Don't know when the next one's going to be.
No, it's going to be... I genuinely, I've said that, I'll say it again, I can't see it till next year. I can't see...
No.
I cannot see it. I can see this behind closed door stuff, and I do see you getting a phone call to be an opponent at fairly short notice in the wrong type of fight. I see that coming, because they'll want to pick you off at a time when you're not spot on and it's not the right fight. But I spoke to Linus about this the other day, and like Linus said, he's not going to be derailed from the plan that he's got just because he's desperate to fight. He'll just wait.
Exactly.
That's the key, isn't it? We don't want to blow it all and take the wrong fight at the wrong time just because you haven't got a fight on. I think that's the key. But there'll be a lot of boxers, you mark my words, picked off during if this happens, and you'll see a lot of boxers that were going places all end their careers. I think and I think and if you're in your 30s and you're coming to the end of your career, you take the chance, I think. But if you're a young man, there's going to be a lot better, better opportunities.
Something like
down the
Joe
line.
Joyce, this ain't done him no good, has it? Like he was late turning over. Joe Joyce.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he's quite old, didn't he, to turn over? So this ain't done him no favours.
No,
so,
anybody they've got to go in now.
Still, so.
I mean, I've got Kay Prosper, obviously super lightweight. He's been making rapid progress under Xavier Miller. He'd be one that would be prime to keep fit and take his chance in one of these big fights. But it's not. But there's not. That wouldn't make sense for everybody. Do you know what I mean? It's difficult. Yeah. So how's lockdown been? Where are you living? And
I'm at my girlfriend's because after the fight, I spent quite a lot of time here, and then it was literally the week after. I think the Friday after we went into lockdown, and I just sort of thought like I've been here. I hadn't stayed at my mum's or my dad's. So I thought, just in case I am carrying something and I don't know, like my mum's parents are pretty reliant on her, so I didn't want to give her nothing or my dad nothing. So yeah, I'm just isolating at my girlfriend's with her and her mum.
Still like her?
I don't know. Yeah, no. It's good. To be fair, it's been easy. Everyone's just being forced to get along, aren't they? Really, not like we're being forced to get along, but if you're stuck with people, you're gonna want to get along.
I had a call from one of my financial clients, Dean, who'd been married 25 odd years. And they rang me up after 3 weeks into lockdown, and they said, "Steve, we've got to tell you something." I said, "What's that?" He said, "We don't really spend that much time together, and we've been spending the last 3 weeks together. We've decided we don't like each other. We're getting divorced." Seriously. And so now I've got to deal with both of them because they've actually, for the first time in their lives, not had a choice but to really talk to each other consistently. And I think if you're a divorce lawyer, you will make a lot of money from this little lockdown.
That's a bit awkward because I should have waited till after lockdown because you can't go anywhere now, can you?
No, he's gone. He left.
Oh, so he's not even isolated.
He's gone. He went halfway through the lockdown.
Oh,
that's mad. So you're doing well if you still like each other because it's a bit of adjustment, this, isn't it, for everybody? I think.
Yeah, we nearly fell out when she cut my hair, but apart from that.
So what have you been doing? Have you been eating yourself silly, or you've been keeping yourself fairly fit, or what have you been doing?
No, I've got access to a gym. It's not a boxing gym, but it's a gym. So I've been going in there like every other day since I've got access to it. It's quite nice to do a bit of training, not like solely concentrating on boxing. It's quite nice to do like a few other things, like be a bit like fluid with what I can do. So that's been nice as well. Been going for like long walks a day, so I'm half enjoying it, mate, if I tell you. No, I'm looking forward to getting back to proper training, but it is nice to train, have a bit of choice with what we want to do. So yeah.
So what do you want out of your career going forward?
Enough money so I can stop driving a cab.
So it's the ultimate goal.
That'd be nice.
Money in the
I'd like to obviously get to the level where I can box full time, be a full time athlete, and then I think that's when you start really seeing even more difference and more improvements, and you really start achieving things. So like obviously the first part of your career is hard, isn't it? Fighting journeymen, paying for them, and then you get into title level and you start earning a little bit more. So I'm guessing the higher I go, the better the money gets. That's what I'm hoping.
That's getting that. I don't think the bigger fighters will be getting well paid this year. That's for sure. I think the money's going to come down this year.
What was that? Sorry, I lost you then.
For the bigger fights, I think the money will come down because the bigger promoters will be able to afford to pay people a bit less. There won't be the competition there, so I think it'll take a while to get back up to where it is now. Because we know, they'll be doing behind closed doors. They won't have gate revenue. There won't be the money there. So that's going to be the issue. It'll take a while to get back to normal, I think.
Yeah,
but when you get
something on Twitter about saying that they could do sort of cloak behind the doors fights in July. Yeah. Thinking, but that's in July. You're going to need at least at the very least 6 weeks sparring and training. But sparring, that's not very sort of social distancing, is it? So
But Dean, it's
I can't
mental
really
because
see.
it's mental because I can't see it. Because if you've got boxing in July and the gyms won't be open yet, what are you going to do? To get people to turn up fighting when they've had no sparring, no gym work? I mean, it's mental, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like a year until it's all back and running properly.
I think you'll get behind closed doors, but I don't think again, you don't know what they're up to, but I don't think, judging by what we can see, you can have behind closed doors until gyms are open for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't think it would be right to do that. But who knows in this mad world what people are going to do? But it seems to be they're aiming for July. They're aiming for July, and we're on the 8th of May, and there's no gyms openings anytime soon, is there? So.
No, I just think, what's the point in trying to rush it? Like, yeah, everyone wants to get back to normal, but if it's going to put people in danger, like, you can't put anything over your health, really. So what's the point in putting a lot of people's health at risk?
And I totally agree. I mean, you would. There's no way I would allow any of my boxers to fight if they weren't having no matter what they're paid, if they're not having preparation. I mean, it's just mental. It doesn't make any sense. And again, you know that some boxers will train behind closed doors in a gym and try and break the law. They'll break the rules, but they're not going to get sparring. There's not going to be adequate sparring out there because there's not enough people fighting to spar. So it just seems to be crazy. I think it would have been better if they'd said something like, let's aim for September, and then maybe the gyms could have, by that time we could be sorted. But I think July just seems optimistic, but the board are aiming for July as well. So they all seem to be doing it. So it doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't agree with it. So I don't know.
We just have to see. We all want to see boxing, but we want to see it safely and that every single boxer's got the proper preparation, don't we? That's what we want to see.
Yeah, of course. Like, boxing is a dangerous sport already. You don't want to make it even more dangerous. This time for the public as well that are coming to watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, be behind closed doors, though, won't it, at first?
Of course, yeah. But even after that, like, I don't know. That's what I mean. I think it's going to be at least a year until everything's back to normal.
I think that's fair. I think it's fair. So, out of your boxing career, apart from money, do you have sort of? Do you think a British title is realistic for you, minimum?
Yeah, no. Obviously, the money helps getting into that position, but no, the British belt has always been something that I wanted to win. Like, it's been a big goal of mine. I'd like to win it outright as well. I remember Ricky Hatton saying one of his biggest regrets was not winning it outright. Like, he went on to sort of like buy one kind of thing to keep it home, but to win it outright, I think that's a big goal of mine, and I think I can achieve it. So,
I mean, yeah. I mean, what did you? I mean, your last fight was tough. What did you learn from that Conrad Stinkowski fight?
There's a few things. Like, well, the thing is, like, with this fight, like, I didn't feel great the week before the fight. No sort of like symptoms of COVID. Well, I know of, and then I felt fine after like 2 days, but it just sort of like it just took a bit out of me, sort of leading up to it, and then everyone, because I think I was like the favourite going into it, everyone was saying to me, "Oh, you can't take him lightly. Like, don't fall off the ball." And I was thinking, nah, like, I'm not. And in the changing room, I was so relaxed. Like, I was just so relaxed. I knew what I had to do. And then walking to the ring, I felt relaxed. And I don't really get nervous. The only time is when the trainers get out the ring and you're waiting for the bell, because that's when you realise it's real, it's happening. And then I was stood there thinking, I don't even sort of feel, I don't even feel it now. So I sort of come out, and then I thought, right, I've got to try and sort of like get my mind into it. Like, I felt relaxed and focused, but I thought, no, I need to like G myself up. And I think I come out a bit too quick, and then I caught him with that left hand towards the end, hurt him, and then I didn't throw calculator punches. I just tried to think, like, I ain't felt great all week. If I can get a 1 round job, like, that'd be perfect. Yeah. He survived it. Next round, I catch him with a big left hand. Go put it on him again. Survived it. And then right at the end, I catch him with a left hand, and I thought I had him out of there. And then the bell went. I thought, oh, for fuck's sake. And then, where was it again? I think it was sort of, after that, I just sort of stood there thinking, right, I've caught him with a few counter punches. All I have to do is land the counter and then get the finish. And then it just completely went off the game plan. And then Gary said, when did I put him down? I think the end of the 6th, I think it was. again, like sort of towards the end, I was thinking, oh fucking hell, like I'm knackered now. And then Gary said to me, like, just please, like, get back to your boxing and throw lighter shots. And then I think I caught him with a lead hook that cut him, and I just thought, right, I'm just gonna lightly put my hands together because I knew the referee was on the verge of stopping it because he was taking punishment and his eye was swollen. So I just put my hands together, sort of quite lightly, and I started landing the shots, and the referee stepped in. So there was quite a lot of learning curves for me. What to do in certain, like this fight, it will put me in good stead for the future. Like I know how to react in different situations now. So,
because I think the mistake a lot of fighters make, and they're not necessarily managed properly, is they jump from that to that, and you've got to go through this. I mean, the Nathan Graham fight was devastating, but apart from knowing that you can punch and knock somebody pretty much out, that we didn't learn anything, but it was a great fight. This fight is going to teach you a bit more. So next time you're going to be able to adapt differently. It's about when you get to that level, being really ready for all eventualities, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what makes sort of like the good fighters good. They've been there, they've experienced it, and they learn how to adapt. So
and tell us about your trainer Gary Logan. I mean, you've formed a very good relationship with him, haven't you?
Yeah, brilliant. I come to him after me and Barry split, and to just explain my situation where I was at, and he said come down whenever it was and go on the pads, and straight away, like he just got like the clogs in my head, in the head, really ticking over about how sort of like boxing works and how fighters break down other fighters, and it's just every session just learning and just working. We've got the TV next to the ring, and we've constantly got fights on, always watching. Like we might be halfway through a round on the pads, and we've got the fight playing in the background, and Gary will clock something, or I will, and we'll be like, quick, rewind that, and we'll go through it, break down sort of why the fighter done this, or why he done that, and how he set this up. So it's Gary really loves boxing, and it really comes across when he's training you. So it's helped me get my love for boxing back to where it was. So I'm over the moon to be.
Somebody's just put a message on what's next for you. Well, I don't think we know what's next for anybody, but obviously Dean's one that he's defended the Southern area. We'll be looking to move up to English level. I think it's time now to have a look at the English title, but obviously we don't know how long that's going to be, whether we're going to need a fight back before we do it. But that's the answer. That you can't plan anything at the moment other than know that we've got you in a very good position. I think that's a fair thing to say. Moving on, it must also be quite inspirational having Dion Jr. in the same camp as you as well.
Yeah, Dion's brilliant. Like, I've known Dion since I was about 16, 17. I remember I walked into Dow Youth and I was on the pads with Mickey and Mick said, see this guy, he's a double ABA champion. I said, oh, I want to do that. And Dion like just smiled and like spudded me, and I just got on along with Dion really well for years. So then to get back in the same training camp as him, like, it's brilliant. Just watch him on the bag, seeing how he does this and does that. You just naturally pick things up, then, don't you? So him and as well, Sammy McNess as well, top level amateur, and Sammy's brilliant as well. He's one of the most capable fighters I've ever sort of come across and seen. Like really, really complete fighter. So being around them two, just picking things up all the time. So it's brilliant.
Well, Dean, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. Good to speak to you again.
Cheers,
we'll
mate.
keep in contact, but thanks a lot. It's been interesting, and look forward to your career next year when it gets back. So it's going to be exciting right ahead over the next couple of years, that's for sure.
Wicked. Sounds
Cheers,
good,
Dean.
mate. And,
Take care.
look after
Thanks
yourself.
a lot.
Take care. Bye.
Cheers, mate. So thanks a lot, everybody. Now, we'll be back on Monday at 7 o'clock. So make sure you join us next Monday at 7 o'clock. Mondays and Wednesdays normally at 7 o'clock. We've got some very, very interesting guests next Monday, and it will be out on their Instagram page. So thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next Monday.